Hi guys. I'm having some connection issues, but I'll just wait for a few people to hop on. Welcome. We're going to be talking about gut stuff today. A lot of you have been asking questions about digestion and dysfunction, a lot of questions about SIBO, kids, all that jazz. So if you have questions, start spouting them out now. Let's get talking. So whoever wants to initiate that, go ahead and initiate it. But basically, if you haven't watched my stories today, I just spoke about some products that you can utilize, especially for children, to help with GI repair and function and just help improve digestion overall, especially if you have bloat, gasiness. So one of the best ways to know if you have digestive issues is that you can, so I'm just reading all the comments. Oh, yay, for the appointment. I don't know when it is, but let me know when I'm chatting with you. So one of the best ways you can know if you are having dysfunction is heartburn, bloat, and gasiness. Another way you can do that is looking at the Bristol stool scale. I think it's called the Bristol stool scale. I can't remember. But you want let's talk about poop. Poop is a great window into your gut health and your microbiome. But if it's nice and soft and like a soft S and it doesn't float, it's a really good sign of healthy digestion most of the time. So if your poop is hard or if you have diarrhea and it floats, those are signs of either inflammation or gut dysbiosis. Constipation can be a sign of MTHFR stuff. So there you go. So that's kind of, so heartburn, bloat, gas, irregular poops, pain with digestion, all that jazz. A question on eczema diets. You can download my free autoimmune paleo. I would start there. We also have an entire podcast where we talk about skin dysfunction and gut health, because your GI tract, your gut health is a mirror to your skin. So liver is too, kind of. That's another talk for another time. But I highly recommend that you guys go there and listen to that podcast episode if you have eczema questions, psoriasis questions, all that jazz, rosacea, acne. It's a really great podcast that we did with Cecilia Salveson. Will Zypan help with liver function? No, but it will help with protein synthesis and digestion. So no, liver function and Zypan are two different parties, basically. So Zypan is hydrochloric acid and betaine and some digestive aids or enzymes. The majority of people have very low hydrochloric acid content due to inflammation and stress and eating crappy foods. So you want to do the baking soda test and make sure that you have enough hydrochloric acid. And if you don't, you want to start taking Zypan. And you want to just slowly dose up until you find your perfect dosage. I have a couple posts on that. But the baking soda test, you guys, everyone should be doing the baking soda test. Like everybody, at least like once every 2 months, to see like, has it improved? Has it declined? And what my teachers have told me is at the age of 50, you need a support with enzymes and hydrochloric acid. I'm finding at around the age of like 25, that's when we need to do it. The majority of people, I'm seeing kids now that need Zypan. It's ridiculous. I mean, our digestion in this country is tanking. And as I always say, if you are not digesting, you are not absorbing. And if you're not absorbing, you are not healing. And this is why we are sick. Because your GI tract, your absorption, it's the root system of the tree. And if the roots are sick and dying, the tree is sick and dying, okay? So the baking soda test, I have a post on that. But first thing in the morning, you want to, don't drink any water. This is the first thing to hit your stomach. You're going to do a half a cup of water mixed with some fresh baking soda, not the baking soda that's been under your sink for a few months that you use to like clean your kitchen, because that's old. So get fresh baking soda, a quarter teaspoon with a half a cup water, mix, chug it. So it's the first thing to hit your stomach, and time yourself. And now you want to make sure that you do a big belch within 2 to 3 minutes, not a like little lady burp. You want to kind of impress yourself, but not like Homer Simpson and like impressed, but you're just like, oh, that was a big burp. Okay. So a belch. And if you're not belching in 2 to 3 minutes, you can stop timing at 5 minutes. You failed the baking soda test and you need some support in the hydrochloric acid department. So that's stomach health and hydrochloric acid. Let's see. Keto, or what's HFLC diet for healing the gut? I prefer more of GAPS for healing the gut, to be honest. Keto can be kind of harsh for some people, just fats and proteins, and there's like good, better, best keto. So I feel like keto is this umbrella term that people use. Like you can do like cheese for keto, and if you're trying to heal your gut and eat cheese, it's not going to happen. So I wouldn't I wouldn't do that kind of keto. But if you're doing like high vegetables, healthy fats, proteins, absolutely. But that's more of like a low carb autoimmune paleo. So I love the low carb autoimmune paleo, but carbs in the sense of like non-starchy root vegetables, right? We want complex carb vegetables. Let's see. I have on the higher end cholesterol, so I'm trying to lower that and actually stay full. Veggies help, but I know I need meat protein too. So cholesterol is interesting because there's 3 different types. Well, there's multiple types, but the big ones are HCl, LDL, and triglycerides. So if you have the higher end cholesterol, and what's higher end, right? Because there's I can talk about cholesterol for ages, you guys. But what's the ratio? Do you have high triglyceride and low LDL and low HDL? Yeah, then you have a cholesterol problem. Do you have high HDL and high LDL and low triglyceride? You don't have a problem. So if you have high triglyceride, that's your issue. So we got to look at the ratios and we got to see the numbers, because high cholesterol is the understanding around fats in this country has been one of the biggest disadvantages to our health in the last 50 years, because everything has been low fat this, low fat that, saturated fats are bad. But I'm going to be really frank here now. If you like to be sexy and you like hormones and you want to have high libido, you got to eat saturated fats, and you got to eat a lot of them because they are the precursor to your sex hormones. If you want babies, you got to eat saturated fats. We can't demonize the things that are the precursors to our sexiness and our sex hormones and our energy and our nice hair and our nice skin. But for some reason, I know why. I know why we've demonized fats. It was due to some terrible research done in the 70s that was basically part of pushing statin drugs. That I have a saved story actually on fats that you guys need to go and watch because it's really fascinating, and it's so dumb that we are here thinking that fats are bad for us. However, triglycerides are a different story because triglycerides are fats that are formed from excess amounts of sugar and simple carbs. So those are very inflammatory. And so there's good LDL and bad LDL, right? And we know it's bad LDL if you have high triglycerides and low HDL. I think, am I getting too technical? Anyways, okay, my favorite fats are, and we also have a fat podcast, and I think it's called Big Fat Lies, or is it Lies About Fat? I don't know. It's a fat podcast. What was I going to say about fats? Okay. My favorite saturated fats are from animal products, obviously like grass-fed beef, pasture-raised chicken, coconut. Coconut oil is wonderful, avocado oil, olive oil, and then this one's very important, organic, unrefined red palm oil. It's a great source of vitamin A. When I do my blood chem analyses, I have not come across one person who has enough vitamin A. Not one. All right, so unrefined red palm oil, make sure it's organic, make sure it is environmentally friendly. There's no slave labor around that. Let's keep our planet healthy too, right? So I don't know, Lauren, I don't know if I answered that question. I'm sorry. Let's see. All right, Zypan with every meal or once a day? Every single meal. So you need digestive aids to help you digest. So every time you are digesting, you're going to need some support. All right. So that's one of the issues with digestive aids, like doctors or practitioners or chiropractors are like, just take this in the morning. But no, you eat multiple times a day. And so every time you eat, your body is trying to express digestive juices and express enzymes. But when you have inflammation and leaky gut and you don't have enough hydrochloric acid, it's not expressing these things in a robust, form or whatever. So you got to support every single time. Zypan is also tricky because you got to dose it really carefully too, because too little Zypan is not going to do anything. And what drives me nuts is when people are like, I went to my chiropractor, they told me to take Zypan, it didn't work. And I'm like, well, how did they tell you to take it? And they said, according to the bottle. No, don't take it according to the bottle, okay? You got to dose it. You got to figure out your perfect dose, and then it's going to fluctuate according to your stress, according to your meals, according to how you're healing. So if you move this way, Zypan moves this way. If you move this way, Zypan moves this way. If you move this way, Zypan moves that way. So start with like 1 Zypan per meal for a couple days, up it to 2 Zypan per meal for a couple days. Do your sorry, I just got a text that I'm trying to read. Do your symptoms go away? If they do, then you're at the right dose. Try going higher anyways. And if you start getting uncomfortable at that higher dose, go back to the lower dose, and that's your perfect dose. I missed it. What's the baking soda test? I will post it in my stories. I will repost that. Do you feel that any of our digestive issues are also caused by parasites, worms, besides bad bacteria in our gut? Absolutely. Yes. And I can actually see that in blood chem analyses. So oftentimes, because I have tired brain, is it your basophils or your eosinophils? If someone knows, just post it here. But if it's really high, it's either environment, it's food, or it's parasites. And so we kind of have to be like, okay, let's see. Is it your environment? No. Is it your food? Let's do an elimination diet. So then we work on the elimination diet. If that is still high after 3 months, then we put them on a parasitic cleanse. And so yes, absolutely. Parasites could be a part of it and should be strongly considered. Is Mega Mucosa available without any sugar additives? I can't handle anything even with natural sweeteners. So not the Mega Mucosa, but you can take the MegaGuard. I am trying to walk around, but the kids threw all the pillows on the floor. Let me find the things. But you know what? But you could also take high pep. Like high pep is fantastic. Licorice is fantastic for that. So high grade licorice from MegaGuard that's got no sugar sweeteners at all. So if you do have issues with sweeteners, you probably want to switch more to like a standard process product or a MegaGuard process product or MegaGuard product. Here they are. So I would do the MegaGuard instead. Can you guys even see me? We dimmed down all our lights at night. So I would do the MegaGuard instead of the Mega Mucosa. And then instead of the Mega Mucosa, do the Mega IgG 2000. So that doesn't have any of the sweeteners. The powders are just really great for children. And they're tasty. And so if your kids have issues, put them on these. If you're an adult and you have issues with those sweeteners, then do the MegaGuard and do the Mega IgG 2000. Alrighty. Can you guys see me? I'm gonna go back to my couch with the light. So I hope that answers your question there. Sorry, I can smell Zypan with every meal once a day. Yeah, so every meal I've answered that. Can we record the baking soda test? Would that be more accurate? I don't understand that question. I'm sorry. High fat, low carb, Zypan with every meal. Do you ever do a podcast or discussion on hormones or diet during periods? Not during periods. There's a lot of influencers out there that talk about seed cycling. But during, no, not really. During periods, it can be kind of tricky, right? Because people just want to gravitate towards carbs. Try the seed cycling thing. I think Dr. Jolene Brighton on Instagram talks about seed cycling. But honestly, during your period, I'm trying to think. You know who also talks about it, and we spoke about it in the membership? Nourished with Nina. We had her on in the membership, and she spoke about foods. And I can't remember it. I'm going to have to go back to my notes. But I think you want to eat more like sweet potatoes, and you want to eat like oatmeal with like nut butters and honey. And so you can do more of the starchy foods. Because I think we naturally gravitate towards sugar during that time, right? And so instead of going to sugar, you want to go to like sweet potato sugar and vegetable sugars. So there you go. I hope that answers your question. How important is the liver reset for healing, and how often should you do it? So let me just tell you this. Rarely when people want to fix their hormones and they want to fix their adrenals and they want to fix their energy, rarely will I bypass liver. Because everything gets processed in the liver. Everything gets packaged in the liver. Like if your liver is sluggish, your body is sluggish. It's almost like let's go back to the tree analogy, right? Oh, I just had this like light bulb moment. So dumb. You guys are gonna think I'm crazy. Our Provo Health logo is a tree, and I constantly talk about trees all the time. So let's go back to the tree. Okay, so the root system, that's your gut. The trunk is the liver. Okay, everything has to go from the root system through the trunk to get to like the leaves to create fruits, right? So we don't want to bypass that trunk. Like you got to make sure your liver is on par. All right, so we can go to adrenals and we can go to hormones, but you're not going to get a lot of success. Like, okay, I was just looking at some BCAs because I have 4 tomorrow. Blood chem analyses. And what drives me nuts, what drives me crazy is these people, they take hormone, like their doctors put them on hormone because their energy is low. And their testosterone is through the freaking roof. Like there are exclamation marks on the BCA, right? And yet their energy only went up like a smidge. So we are pounding with hormone to get a little bit of like improvement. Meanwhile, we're looking in the wrong place. You got to look at the liver. You got to look, and then their DHEA is low, so their adrenals are not working. Listen, if you have a sex hormone issue, you have an adrenal issue, okay? So you got to fix the adrenals to fix the sex hormones. But what do? We go straight to the sex hormones. We're like, oh, they're the problem. They're not the problem. The adrenals are the problem. The liver is the problem. The digestion is the problem. So you got to just keep working up the stream to fix the downstream stuff, which is the hormones. And so you're going to get very, very little return on your investment if you go straight to hormones. You're not solving the core issue. You're putting on more Band-Aids. And that's that. Did that answer that question? I'm very passionate about hormones. Very passionate. I think I'm actually more passionate about digestive health and liver health. So liver is crucial if you want to see leaps and bounds in your health downstream, like adrenals, which are energy and sex hormones, and then sex hormones, okay? So do not bypass liver. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Like, if your liver is sick, you're sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we hate our livers? I'm not saying we hate our livers, but like, I think part of me is like, why do we think they just work well when we live in such a toxic environment and we eat toxins all day and we inhale toxins and we sleep in toxins and so anyways, long story short, actually the podcast episode that's coming out on Thursday is all about getting to know your toxins. And so that's going to be a fun one for people. Also, the Zypan dosing info is on a highlight. Thank you, Katie. Low fat fads and marketing is yes. Yes, it is. I love you, Shauna. Having lots of swelling and sickness during periods. Do you have any podcasts or posts about diets for hormones and periods? Yes. So we did, we have tons. There's one with Nourished with Nina in December. I think there's a lot. I think we'll do some swipe ups to the hormone podcast, but I think there's 4. Like there's 4, guys. There's 4 podcasts. There's 4. So Nina, then we did one before Nina last year. I just did one with Katie Baker like a few weeks ago, where we talk about infertility and nutrition, which is still applicable to hormones, right? And you'll learn a lot regardless. There we go. CBD dosing for my son. There is a saved IG post about that. And do your kids mind the taste? Okay, my kids are weird because they love the taste of the CBD that we sell. And I freaking hate it. Like I do, like this is my company. Like Wasatch Herbals is our company. We started it, we source it, we bottle it, we ship it to you. And I hate the taste, and I'm never going to add glycerin to it. I'm never going to add flavors to it because I just like things pure, right? And my kids love it. They love it. And I'm like, you guys are nuts. Like, so my kids like it. Most people don't like it. So there you go. There you go. I don't know. That answer did not help. I'm sorry. Does having a bad gut hinder a healthy pregnancy and child? Potentially, yes. If you have a bad gut, that can hinder your immune function, which can affect baby's immune function. It depends. It depends on what's going on. It depends on other factors, but yes, it can. So we used to think that babies' GI tracts were sterile until they were birthed through the vaginal canal. And now recent, I'm tired, I need to go to bed. Recent research has showed us that that's not true. They already have a very little, but they have some biota in their gut already before coming through the vaginal canal. Obviously it's very, very infantile, I guess, but it's there. How many vitamin supplements do you take daily? Trying to get a good regimen, but not sure how much is too much. Mine are always changing depending on what I'm trying to support. So recently, what have I been taking lately? I love Organ Complex or Catalin for daily. Methyl B. I take choline for MTHFR issues and fat metabolism issues. I take a lot of digestive aids because digestion is super important. Absorption is super important. Occasionally I'll take zinc. Occasionally I'll take vitamin C. I don't know. It just depends. It depends on my day. My kids take more supplements than I do. So, do I take 4 Zypan? I thought that was how many I saw in your picture. Yes. I currently take between 4 and 6. It will change according to my stress and what I'm eating. A few weeks ago, I was taking like 1 a day. Now it just like shot up. It's like, oh, my digestion's struggling, right? So, how should one take care of health if the mouth and... I don't understand that question. I'm sorry. Take care of health if the mouth and teeth. I don't understand that. I'm sorry. I've been doing hydrogen peroxide, food grade, water flushes, and therapy grade coffee enemas. And oh my gosh, the worms that come out are mind boggling. And I'm on week 2 and I started seeing them come out. Oh my gosh, on day 1. That's insane. I want to learn more about the hydrogen peroxide stuff. Are you like flushing it through your colon? Because that would be cool. I actually don't know a lot about that. I will try and save this live. Yes, dulled by Steph, I will try. But IG hates me, Instagram, and they will like delete my lives if they get too long. Apparently I waffle on too much. I'm trying a FODMAP diet for suspected IBS. I eat very clean and organic, but still have digestive issues. Any suggestions? Yes. So your inflammation is a little bit too high. So sometimes our inflammation outruns us and our autoimmune outruns us. And so that is when you might need to like get those flames down, like by either, and I hate to say this, by either like a steroid or some medication by a doctor, and then you do damage control like crazy. So you got to get that inflammation down, and then you got to like hit hard, right? So low FODMAP is good, but you might need to take it further to an elemental diet. And so if you just research elemental diet or look it up online, it's literally like a food milkshake for weeks. But it's got all the perfect ratios of carbs, fats, proteins, none of the fiber crap. Fiber's not crap. Fiber's amazing. You want it, but when you have issues like IBS, IBD, Crohn's, this might be an avenue to explore. Again, you have to talk to your doctors about it, or your DOs, or integrative whatevers. But FODMAPs is a good starting point and can work for some people. Again, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is your IBS or your IBD? Are you a full-blown 10? You might need the elemental diet and you might need steroids, right? If you're like a 5, you can probably manage it with FODMAPs and like insane supplementation and insane discipline and insane stress management, right? So it just depends. Okay. I need a liver reset ASAP. Everyone does. Everyone. I also have endometriosis and don't know if that relates. So if you have endometriosis, you want to listen to the infertility podcast and our other hormonal podcasts. Where's the liver reset program? If you go to gutsy.ch/liver, yes, gutsy.ch/liver, you will find it. Oh, I love you too. Thank you. Is the MegaGuard and Mega2000 you spoke of? What is the MegaGuard and the Mega2000? So it's in my stories, and what they do, I'm gonna grab them. They help with mucosal lining, they help with inflammation, they help with immune system regulation, because your gut biome regulates your immune system, right? And so they are basically things that help heal the GI tract and the inflammation down there. And they make everything nice and happy and cozy. Have you heard of MRKH syndrome? I have not. I will have to look that up. Is on the Gutsy Health website. Yes, it is on the Gutsy Health website. Gutsy.ch/liver. Also, you guys should listen to the liver podcast that came out like a month ago or 6 weeks ago. I can't remember. Let's see. Where do I start to help my liver? So you guys make sure you are. I mean, where do you start? Why did this song from Sound of Music just hit my head? You start from the very beginning, the very first place to start. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? That song? You have the lyrics wrong. So I would say before liver reset, you guys want to figure out your digestion. So start like eliminating foods. And if eliminating foods is not helping with your bloat and your gassiness and your heartburn, then get on some digestive aids and figure that out, and then go over to liver. So, I mean, you can try and shortcut digestion, but that's just going to make your liver experience a little bit more miserable. So support with digestion, make sure it is like on par and it's working like a well-oiled machine, and then head on down to liver reset, okay? What should we be eating for breakfast? It depends on the person. You know, like if you have insulin resistance, you obviously don't want to eat like oatmeal and fruit. So green smoothies, I love green smoothies, high fat breakfasts, those are fantastic. Can wheat and latex allergies be reversed? Depends. Like what kind of allergy is it? Is it an IgG allergy? Is it an IgE allergy? Because the IgEs, they tend to stick around. Like those ones are really hard to reverse, but the IgG ones, like those are often associated with leaky gut. So the worse your leaky gut is, the more so there's allergies and then there's sensitivities. And so wheat and latex allergies, probably not. I don't know. Like I'm sure it's been done, but it's really hard. If they are sensitivities, however, IgG, I think, then you probably could, because again, I have ADD. So the worse your leaky gut, the worse your sensitivities are going to be, the more sensitivities you have. As you they kind of like compound, and you get more and more and more sensitivities, the more inflammation you get, the more leaky gut you get. As you start healing that leaky gut, your list of sensitivities go down and down and down. And then you can tolerate food a lot better. Does having a bad guy hinder a healthy pregnancy and child? Bad gut? Okay, does having a bad gut hinder pregnancy? And so having a bad gut can hinder your absorption, which can hinder your hormones. So having a bad gut, it's kind of directly right, but if you have a bad gut, how bad is it, right? It can hinder hormone function because you're not absorbing fats and proteins. Follow the so if you're taking our CBD, follow it with raw honey. That's a great idea. Thank you. Okay, ever heard of scalloped tongue? If so, is that Atlas tongue or geographic tongue? Because yes, I have heard of it, and that is often fungal issues or bacterial issues in the gut. So that's a gut issue. So cut out the most known food allergens out there and decrease your sugar intake like craziness, all right? and then decrease your stress. And that should help with that. But again, like if you guys have like white on your tongues, so take a look at your tongues. And if you have white, that's like a yeast overgrowth thing. So your tongue is, if you have cracks on your tongue, that's like B vitamin deficiencies. Your tongue can actually tell you a lot about what's going on internally as far as absorption and bacteria in your gut. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you just took a big, the fire cider? Yeah, it burns. Burns big time. And I kind of like it. I don't know why. Your opinion and thoughts on what, oh, okay. I don't know what MRKH syndrome is. I'm going to have to look that up. One of my favorite digestive aids, Zypan, all the way. Holy cow. Zypan is my favorite, followed by Enzycore, followed by Digest Forte, followed by Multizyme. So Digest Forte, you suck on it before your meals. It's bitters. Have you guys ever heard of digestive bitters? It's a highly concentrated form. My clients hate me when I put them on it because it's just really bitter and they got to suck on it for like 5 to 10 minutes. But that preps your GI tract. It helps with leaky gut, helps with parasites. And then they eat their meal and then they take their Zypan and they take their Enzycore. And that typically helps a ton. Will the hair analysis ever be available for out-of-state people? Yes, there are people that are doing them right now. We're working on getting someone set up in California to do the hair analyses, and then Ryan with Test My Home, we are hooking him up with a hair analysis as well and computer, so that whatever state he goes to, he can pull people's hair and his clients' hairs as well. So it's a work in progress. It's coming soon. I promise I will mention it when that does happen. Best place to start with SIBO. If you've done the breath test, have you guys done the breath test for SIBO? Low FODMAP diet. I would start there. It depends. SIBO protocol, elimination diets, like try those, but like low FODMAP is probably your best bet. It just depends. It depends like on case to case to case. But low FODMAP, berberine active is fantastic. Berberine active is great for anything. So there you go. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. How to start weight loss. Oh man, that's like a big can of worms right there. You fix your hormones. That's how. Because trying to lose weight when your hormones are working against you is pushing a boulder uphill. It's inefficient. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy, right? But when your hormones are working for you, you're pushing the boulder downhill. And therefore you're not wasting a lot of energy and utilizing a lot of energy, right? So fix your hormones and the weight should be so much easier. Insulin resistance, check if you have insulin resistance. That is going to be huge. Do you have PCOS? Again, these are all hormonal imbalances. So fix those and the weight should just come off. I've had so many people tell me that they lose weight on the liver reset too. And that's not the point. The point is to fix your liver. But when you fix your liver, oh my gosh, hormones fix themselves. It's amazing. So also it's kind of like an elimination diet too. So eating inflammatory foods is going to make you hold weight, retain water, all that jazz. Let's see. Are hormones like birth control and digestion linked? Yes. Oh my gosh. Like oral birth control? Yeah, absolutely. There is no reason for hormone to be in the GI tract. None. And unfortunately, we take hormone in the GI tract and it causes gut disruption. So yeah. I think Wellness Mama did a podcast episode on birth control that you guys might want to check out. I have a saved story on birth control and gut dysfunction or function. So yes, we don't want to put hormones in our GI tract. They don't belong there. They belong in the bloodstream. How do you get started on a life of disciplined food? Get rid of my sugar addiction is hard. Yes, we are all sugar addicts. So you got to crowd it out because a lot of times one, we're addicted to sugar, but we are also malnourished. And so we are craving things all the time. So crowd out the sugar with eating high nutrient dense foods. Sorry, I'm just reading text from my staff right now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you want to eat high, and yes, I do get messages at like 9:40 at night being like, you have this tomorrow and this tomorrow. Don't forget this. Don't forget to call this person. What was I saying? Crowd out the bad food, right? So you are craving sugar because you are, because you're hungry. You're hungry and you need energy. You need fast energy, and you're starving. Like a lot of times when I do my hair analyses, I look at them and I will show like foods on there. I'm like, you are literally starving right now. Like you're not getting anything. And so eat high nutrient dense foods, lots of fats, lots of proteins, lots of veggies, and then your cravings will start to shift and change. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, you can do it the hard way where you're just going cold turkey, but that's kind of like the forbidden apple where now it's like even more appealing. You know, it's like, oh, I'm not allowed this, but now I want it. So just crowd it out. And that might be a process. It might take a while, but eat like start with the green smoothies. That's why I don't like carby foods in the morning, because when you start with carby foods and you jack up your insulin and now you crave carby foods and sugar throughout the day. But when you start with like high fat, high protein, you start with like a green smoothie with very little fruit in it and lots of greens, like it's very satiating. It's super nourishing. And your cravings are less throughout the day. When you start with like maple syrup and pancakes and waffles and like French toast, like you're toast the rest of the day and you're just craving junk all day long. Do you do virtual consults constantly? Yes, we absolutely do. I need my hormones to be balanced. I was diagnosed with Hashis and the meds do not help. No, they probably don't because your liver's not working. Just did a BCA today. And thyroid dysfunction, and her and she's on medication, right? And every time we see like her labs, like it's not working. And so doctors keep changing it. She did the liver reset, and like this is the first time in all of her labs that I've seen where they're like in optimal ranges. And I'm like, this is beautiful. Your liver's doing what it's supposed to now. So liver, guys, there you go. Shauna, you got it. Yes. That do re mi. Oh my gosh, sorry, joke from like earlier on. Like the first three notes just happen to be, you got it. Holy cow. Can we do karaoke sometime? Okay. Anything that oopsie. Sorry, I touched things I'm not supposed to touch. Anything that causes excess hair growth all over the body as a woman. Testosterone, PCOS. You have insulin resistance most likely, go talk to your doctor, do some blood work. You most likely have PCOS, and now your testosterone's through the roof and your body thinks you're a man. Not really, but how do you get your adrenals in check? You get rid of your children, you quit your job. I'm just kidding. That's all things that cause stress. You decrease stress, and you eat a lot of fat, healthy fats. And I mean, it depends. Like, are you getting enough vitamin C? Are you getting enough sodium? Are you getting enough potassium? Make sure you're getting those things. All right. How do you fix your adrenals? Man, it's like a loaded question. I'm like, where do we even start? Like, sleep more? I don't know. How do we stop stressing? Do we all just like move to India and become yogis? That sounds like fun. Okay. I think I'm getting lost. Where do I get the supplements that you give me your brain function? Please. Whatever. You're so funny. Shauna, you're pretty brilliant yourself. So I bloat way bad and get stomach cramps when I eat raw fruit and vegetables. Don't eat them. Like, you got to cook those babies because you can't handle fiber yet. So you got to kind of retrain your gut biome. So yes, so you might have some leaky gut. The majority of my clients, I tell them 90-10 rule. So you got to like cook, steam, or saute your vegetables 90% of the time, and then 10% raw. But the things that you're keeping raw are not broccoli. It's like leafy greens. Now, I have some clients that can't even handle raw leafy greens. So when they do their green smoothies, they have to steam their greens and then throw it in the smoothie, and then they don't get bloated and gassy. And so after a while, after they've cut out the inflammatory foods, they're steaming their vegetables, then we go down to 80-20. So 80% cooked, 20% raw. And then the gut biome starts to adjust and adapt. And gut biome adapts beautifully when you get the inflammation gone. When inflammation is there, everyone's just stressed and angry, right? So get the inflammation gone and start retraining and start healing. And then once your gut biome is trained to do 80-20, then you go to 70-30. All right, so 70% cooked, 30% raw, and then you can go 60-40. And like that's typically like a happy point for a lot of people. If you want to do 50-50, fantastic, right? But you just gotta, it's individualized. All right, how do you feel? Fungus around the neck. My husband has white patches. Doctor says it's fungus. Fungus loves sugar. Oh, there's a hair on me. That's nice. Fungus likes sugar. So you stop eating sugar. Listen to the podcast episode on skin issues and gut biome. I will try and save this live. And if I don't save it, you can send hate mail to Instagram. Don't do that. We don't need negative energy in the world. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Would homemade fermented foods help you digest better? Potentially, yes. If you don't have SIBO and you don't have high histamine, if you have histamine intolerance, if your body cannot break down histamine, you're going to react really bad and get really inflamed. So research, if you're like, I react to everything, research histamine intolerance. If you have SIBO, anything fermented is just going to make the bad bacteria in your small intestine really, really angry or happy, because bad bacteria that's happy makes you an unhappy person. I think I am going to end this soon. I think I'm like way behind on questions. Sorry, I haven't been keeping up. Any advice on people with dialysis kidney disease? That I would need to see blood work for that, because that's not a one size fits all. Anything that, oh, we did that one. What? Am I going in circles? Maybe. All right, let me answer like one or two more. Can you use digestive enzymes with SIBO? If so, which ones? Yes. Do the hydrochloric acid test first with the baking soda and see if you need Zypan. I try to see if we can like get a hold of the SIBO with just digestive enzymes and nutritional changes before we like launch into like the heavy SIBO protocols, because SIBO protocols are not fun. They're just not. So yes, with the enzymes, no with the probiotics and the prebiotics. And if you can like manage it with the enzymes, then you just kind of wait it out and see what happens. But think of hydrochloric acid or Zypan like the bouncer to the nightclub, right? So if you have a robust release of hydrochloric acid, you know, food goes from your esophagus to stomach to small intestine. So the bouncer is in the stomach. It stops bad dudes from going into the small intestine. But if you have low hydrochloric acid, I talk like nightclubs, like I've been to them and I've never been to a nightclub. I don't think I've ever met a bouncer in my entire life. But if your hydrochloric acid is low, the bouncer is gone. So bad dudes can go from mouth, esophagus, stomach, and into the small intestine. So let's try and get that hydrochloric acid up. Let's try and get protein synthesis like going up. Let's try to break down foods like crazy and see if maybe the SIBO can be managed that way. And if not, and I'd say like 3 out of 10 times it just takes some enzymes, but 7 out of 10 we gotta bring out some big guns. Let's see. My Wi-Fi causes me headaches, so we turn it off. My naturopath thinks I have mold in my body. So do you think they correlate? I don't know enough about that. That's a question for Ryan at Test My Home. So just go to Instagram, his account, Test My Home, and I wonder if he would answer that. And let's see. Okay, one last thing. I'm going to share a personal story on how gut biome and sugar are so important. So my kids don't eat a lot of sugar, and it's been really nice because they've been out of school. They're homeschooling now, and it's been summer, so they haven't been fed like sugar and candy and all that jazz. Well, my son and my daughter went over to a friend's house on Friday, and they had slushies, like slushies. And I didn't know, I had no idea. Anyways, that night, my daughter is complaining vaginal itching and pain. And I look and she's like all inflamed, like she has diaper rash. I'm like, what the heck? You haven't had diaper rash in like a year. My son wakes up the next morning with like boils on his butt. And I'm like, oh great, your guys' biome is like way messed up, right? Because of the freaking slushy. So you might be thinking, why is their gut biome so sensitive? It's not that it's sensitive, it's that their immune system is that hyper focused. And so the bar is set really high, right? So they're up here all the time and something knocked them down and the immune system was like, whoa, something happened here, right? So the issue in disease comes when the bar gets set lower and lower and lower and lower, and we become desensitized to these junk foods, right? Because what the body does is when you're first exposed to like a toxin or an inflammatory food, it will send you a message. And it'll either be like bloat or gassiness or pain or headache or vaginal itching or anal itching or something like that, skin itching. And it'll send you this message over and over and over. And if you ignore it, then the body oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes, it will switch that signal off and be like, okay, you're not listening, so now I gotta do damage control. And damage control, typically, if you think of like a bank account, like let's say you get $100 a day to heal your body, digest your food, do all the things, and make hormones, all right? So now we're utilizing $100 a day. At the end of the day, we're at like zero. But now you are stressing the body even more. So you need $110 every day to deal with that extra stress. So what do? We put it on a credit card and we put it on the back burner. And now we're accruing all of this credit, right? We can't keep doing that because guess what? In a few years' time, your credit is going to be like $100,000. And then the body police are going to come and they're going to be like, hey, I need my money back because we are breaking down left, right, and center and we are on fire. So be mindful of those tiny little red flags, all right? The itching, the diaper rashes, the skin issues. Don't just throw Benadryl at it. Don't just throw ibuprofen at it. That's like the collection agency being like, hey, this is on a credit card. Are you going to pay that credit card off? And we're saying no. And then we like Band-Aid it, right? No, we can't keep saying no anymore, all right? So when you are not nourishing that gut biome, the gut biome, 80% of the immune system, keep it smart, keep it happy, keep it healthy, right? Feed it all the good things. Feed it vegetables because it loves vegetables. It loves fiber. Feed it nuts and seeds because it loves short chain fatty acids that we get from like chia and flax and hemp hearts, all right? So feed your colonocytes all the short chain fatty acid foods, nurture it, and it will, like, it's like a garden, right? You don't just like plant seed and you don't water it and you don't fertilize it, right? So you gotta like take care of your gut garden. And that's it. That's all I have to say. So don't put things on the back burner because you are going to accumulate debt, and debt comes back and it bites you in the ass. All right. I don't swear a lot, but I'm trying to like really, really like drive this home. Look at the red flags. Don't just switch them off, because nobody wants to wake up in their 30s and their 40s and realize they've just been diagnosed with a really, really bad disease. Because trust me, diseases suck and they're really hard to reverse. So be kind to your, and now this is me going to soften it, but be nice to yourself and be gentle and don't sweat the small things and don't let that pep talk like stress you out, because it can sometimes. And that's it. What kind of water bottle do you suggest drinking? Stainless steel, glass, that kind of thing. Okay, anyways. All right, guys, thanks for talking. I'm going to get back to work and finish notes and all that jazz. And I'll talk to you all later. Thanks for being here. Good night, everyone. And now it's always like the awkward part. Like, how do I end this? Oh, bye.